This is the sound of a $10 billion silence, the sound of a crankshaft seizing at 70 miles per hour on the I-5, the sound of the world's most trusted automaker realizing they have built a ticking time bomb into the heart of their flagship truck. For decades, the Toyota production system was the Bible of manufacturing: Kaizen, continuous improvement, zero defects. But today, that Bible has been burned. We are looking at the cataclysmic failure of the V35A-FTS engine, a twin-turbo V6 engineering marvel that was supposed to replace the legendary V8, but instead has triggered the largest, most complex, and most expensive engine recall in the history of the Toyota Motor Corporation. This isn't just a recall, this is a forensic crime scene.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the NHTSA, has officially designated this safety recall 24V381, and the documents released in Washington, D.C. paint a picture of corporate negligence, rushed production lines, and a failure of quality control that borders on the unbelievable. We are talking about machining debris, metal shavings, the ghosts of the manufacturing process left inside the engine block, circulating like shrapnel through the oil galleries until they find the main bearings. And when they do, the engine doesn't just fail, it destroys itself. It locks up. It leaves families stranded in the middle of highways with zero steering assist and zero brake boost. This is the story of how Toyota bet the farm on the V35A and how a few milligrams of metal dust brought a giant to its knees. To understand the gravity of this situation, we have to go back to the engine's inception. The V35A-FTS is a technical masterpiece on paper: 3.4 liters, twin turbochargers,
electronic wastegate actuators, a hybrid-ready architecture designed to meet EPA emission standards that the old 5.7-liter V8 could never touch. It produces 389 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque in standard trim. It is complex. It involves laser-clad valve seats and high-pressure direct injection. But complexity introduces vulnerability. In the Alabama engine plant and the Japanese production facilities, the machining process for the cylinder block involves heavy milling. During a specific production period, the cleaning process, the vacuum systems and wash cycles designed to remove metal swarf, failed to clear the oil passages. These aren't large chunks of metal. We are talking about microscopic debris. But in a modern engine with tight tolerances, microscopic is massive. The main bearings of the crankshaft are supported by a thin film of oil. This hydrodynamic wedge prevents metal-on-metal contact.
When that debris enters the oil stream, it bypasses the filter during cold starts or high-pressure bypass events, or simply resides in the galleries post-filter. It embeds itself into the soft babbitt material of the bearing shells. Once embedded, it disrupts the oil film. The friction spikes. The heat rises instantly. The bearing material begins to wipe, and then catastrophic seizure. The crankshaft welds itself to the block. The connecting rods can snap. The piston can be sent through the side of the block. This is what the NHTSA filings reveal. Toyota knew about potential debris issues as early as 2022, but they categorized it as isolated incidents. They thought they could contain it with production changes. They were wrong. The scope of this recall covers over 100,000 vehicles: Tundras, Lexus LX600s. The financial implication is staggering. We are not talking about a software update. We are not talking about a sensor replacement.
The remedy, officially announced, is a full engine replacement. Let that sink in. To fix this, Toyota technicians have to lift the cab off the chassis. They have to disconnect the cooling system, the high-voltage lines for the hybrid models, the transmission, the exhaust, the fuel lines. They have to pull the entire V35A long block and install a new one. The labor time is estimated between 15 to 20 hours per truck. The cost of the engine assembly alone is over $15,000 at retail. Multiply that by 100,000 units. Add the labor, add the rental cars for customers, add the shipping logistics of moving 100,000 engines across the Pacific or across the country. You are looking at a bill that exceeds $5 billion, and that's just the direct cost. The indirect cost is the destruction of resale value. Who wants to buy a used 2022 or 2023 Tundra knowing it might have a factory-installed grenade under the hood? The market is already reacting. Auction prices are softening.
Dealership lots are full of stop-sale inventory. This is the nightmare scenario that keeps Akio Toyota awake at night. The investigation reveals that the debris issue wasn't just a machine failure, it was a process failure. The pressure to meet demand for the new Tundra was immense. The truck was delayed. Dealers were screaming for inventory. Did the assembly line speed compromise the wash cycles? Did the quality checks get bypassed? The NHTSA documents suggest that the process controls were insufficient. That is bureaucratic speak for "we messed up." But it gets worse. The initial response from Toyota was slow. Owners were reporting failures on forums, posting videos of knocking engines, and being told it was normal or facing denial of warranty claims due to abuse. It wasn't until the federal government stepped in that the full scope was acknowledged. The Office of Defects Investigation, ODI, opened a preliminary evaluation. They demanded data. They subpoenaed warranty claims.
And what they found was a statistically significant spike in main bearing failures that could not be explained by maintenance neglect. The correlation to the production dates was undeniable. This forced Toyota's hand. They had to issue the recall. But the execution of the recall is a logistical impossible mission. There are not enough replacement engines in existence. The supply chain is already strained. If you own a Tundra today and your engine fails, you could be waiting months for a replacement. And during that time, you are driving a loaner. Or worse, you are fighting with a service manager who is overwhelmed by hundreds of angry customers. This situation exposes the fragility of modern automotive manufacturing. We moved away from the over-engineered simple engines of the 90s to these highly stressed, ultra-efficient power plants. The tolerances are tighter. The margins for error are zero.
And when you combine that with a global supply chain crisis and labor shortages, you get the Tundra disaster. The V35A engine was supposed to be the future. It was supposed to power the next generation of Land Cruisers, Sequoias, and Tundras for 20 years. Now its reputation is tattered. The question is, can Toyota recover? They survived the unintended acceleration crisis. They survived the frame rust settlements. But this hits at the core of their identity, reliability. People buy a Tundra because they believe it will run for 1 million miles. They pay a premium for that belief. If that belief is shattered, the brand has nothing left. The fix involves not just replacing the engine, but ensuring the new engines are actually clean. Toyota has stated that the replacement engines are produced under a new, stricter protocol with different machining pressures and enhanced visual inspections. But trust is hard to rebuild.
Every time a Tundra owner starts their truck, they will be listening. Is that a tick? Is that a knock? Is the oil pressure dropping? The psychological toll on the ownership experience is real. And let's talk about the hybrid models, the iForce Max. The complexity of swapping an engine sandwiched between a 10-speed automatic and an electric motor generator is profound. The risk of secondary issues, loose connectors, coolant leaks, electrical gremlins, after a major repair like this is high. A factory-installed engine is done by robots with precision torque specifications. A dealership replacement is done by a human, often under time pressure, working on a flat rate. The potential for human error during the repair process is another variable in this billion-dollar equation. Wall Street is watching. Toyota's stock has taken hits as the news ripples through the financial sector. Analysts are downgrading the earnings forecasts. The warranty reserves are being drained.
This is a cash flow hemorrhage. But beyond the money, this is a cultural crisis. The Toyota way relies on judoka, automation with a human touch, and the ability to stop the line when a defect is detected. Why wasn't the line stopped? Why did thousands of engines leave the plant with metal in their veins? The internal investigation must be brutal. Heads will roll. Management structures will change. But for the consumer, the damage is done. The NHTSA ruling is final. The defect exists. The safety risk is real. The recall is mandatory. There is no wiggling out of this. This is the reality of the automotive industry in the 2020s. The push for efficiency has pushed engineering to the ragged edge, and in this case, Toyota fell off the cliff. We are witnessing the end of an era of blind trust in the Toyota batch. From now on, trust must be verified.
As we watch the flatbed trucks line up at dealerships, carrying the dead flagships of the Japanese giant, we have to ask, is this an isolated incident, or is this the new normal? With the complexity of internal combustion engines reaching their peak before the EV transition, are we just seeing the cracks in the foundation of legacy auto manufacturing? The V35A-FTS will go down in history not as the engine that replaced the V8, but as the engine that almost broke Toyota. This is the autopsy of a failure, and the patient is still on the table.